Welcome to Sustainable Packaging with Cory Connors. This guest today is somebody we've been talking about for a year and a half, and I'm thrilled to introduce Mr. Zach Lauer, who's the VP of Supply Chain from TREX. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Thanks for having me, Cory. This is
Um,
fantastic.
Thank you for being a part of the solution to the sustainable packaging problem. We appreciate what you guys do at TREX, and I'm excited to get to hear about it.
And we're excited to share it too
Great.
and get more people excited
Yes.
about recycling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's start off a little bit. Tell us about yourself. Where are you from? How'd you get into recycling and TREX and all the whole thing?
Yeah, well, I call Virginia home, and that's where Trex is headquartered. Actually, grew up in a military family, moved around a lot, and but I call Virginia my home. I've been with manufacturing for over 20 years. I've been very fortunate. Each company that I've worked with has had a huge passion for sustainability, not only getting people to recycle, but offering recycling solutions and utilizing high content of recycled materials in their products. And the majority of that time has been in the plastics industry. So companies that have been very conscientious about the use of that material and also getting people to think about recycling. I mean, obviously here at Trex, 95% of the material that goes into our decking products is post-industrial or post-consumer recycled content.
Wow.
So, we're trying to look to divert as much materials from the waste streams as possible and make a valuable product out of it.
Well, it's incredible what you guys are doing. It's in very high demand right now on both sides. We need someone that can absorb the material, but your products have also become very popular with the building community. Can you tell us a little bit about where did this start? Who came up with this idea to turn old plastic films into a wood replacement material? I don't know the history, and I'd love to learn.
Yeah, and it's a rich history and one that kind of is just part of our DNA now here at Trex.
Yeah.
Trex company started in the early 1990s, and one of our original founders was Roger Wittenberg, and he developed a process to convert plastic bags and wood into decking and railing products. And he was an entrepreneur at heart, and his business was actually in the bread business. And he
Huh.
wanted to figure out a way. He was inspired to find a way to repurpose these large quantities of discarded plastic bags from his
Wow.
breadcrumb business. So it didn't make him happy that there wasn't a solution for this. So, and then ultimately Roger sold his composite idea and business to Mobile Chemical.
Oh,
And he was part of the team that repurchased the company back from Mobile when they spun it. And that's when we, officially kind of became Trex, if you will. And now look what we've come,
yeah.
over those last 25 years.
What was his name? Roger
Roger Wittenberg.
Wittenberg. Okay. I think it's
And
important that we give credit to him for coming up with this amazing idea. So can you walk us through the process? I know the only part that I know for sure is that we send you uh, plastic that would have been landfill, and you guys turn it into decking or a wood replacement product, we should say, because it's used for more than decking. Can you tell us how it works?
Yeah, so we play a pretty major role in that circular economy of recycling. We work very hard to set up supply chains where we can capture film from retail stores, distribution, and manufacturing. The genius of Trex is in our process, and we've found a way to actually combine this discarded plastic and wraps and reclaimed wood to produce our product, and to produce a product that can withstand harsh outdoor conditions and can be warranted for 25 years, right? And
Wow.
so it on the back end, we're not creating something that should be filling up landfills, right? We can take that back and recycle it, in our process as well. But a key part to this at Trex has always been educating and encouraging and rewarding recycling. We try to partner with bigger companies than us with like our next Trex program, meaning like make this bag or make this film the next Trex deck, right? Is
Nice.
where that next kind of Trex comes from. And partnering with bigger companies to co-brand with TREX on their films to let people know that these things can go back into a valuable product. But we also work very hard to kind of establish those supply chains. So we encourage people to return their bags to the stores because we are the ones that go pick up those bags from those stores. And we have a massive team that works with distribution and manufacturing to capture their films, their stretch wraps, and we actually provide them with the materials that they need to capture those streams and get them back to us for that. But we also spend a lot of time educating and encouraging communities and school systems. We have a large school recycling competition program that we host out there, and all that information can be found at our website. But we also encourage communities. And what I mean by encourage is we educate people on the recycling process, but we reward them for recycling. So they can win TREX products for their communities and schools, whether it's picnic benches or birdhouses that are made from that, that they can reap the reward of their efforts in doing this. And at the same time, especially with the school competition, we're training that next generation. We're encouraging that next generation of individuals to recycle out there. And then on the business side, that's a little bit more B2B, and we work with large distributors in order to capture their stretch films and bring those back, right? So I think one of the unique things about TREX's story is not only did we try to find something that people weren't using 25 years and make a valuable product out of it, but we've had to create these supply chains to draw all this material into our manufacturing opportunities for that.
I bet that's an enormous logistical challenge for you guys.
Yeah, it's a big part of what typically when people think of supply chains, right? It's not one thing that you think about as this massive, huge reverse logistics operations to capture this and actually go convince people to save it for you, right?
Right. It's such a critical part, the education. And I love that you guys are encouraging companies to put the TREX. Do you have a logo, or is it just like
so it's actually a branded item that we work in, because there's many things out there, films that we can use that maybe people aren't familiar with, like cereal bags, right? Like the bags that are inside the carton, right? And so getting companies that make food products and that make these films, or the bubble wraps that come in your packaging curbside, right? To actually work with us with an emblem so people know that they can recycle that, and with the wording on, that encourages them on where the collection points are for that.
I partnered with Dow, a specialty packaging and films, for America Recycles Day, November 15th. And we did some videos about how this film can go in this bin and it'll go to TREX. And that's such a simple thing to educate people about, but it's such a big issue that a lot of people, like you said, they don't know that you can recycle your cereal. The bag inside your cereal box can go to the grocery store or to a collection point, or be picked up by a company like Ridwell or Recyclops, and then get to TREX to be turned into something great.
And even, like mailers as well. Mailers are becoming a big popular, the bubble wrap mailers, as well as an opportunity. And as we see more things getting delivered to houses, right? Having options for those people that not only get the corrugate, but the inside of that box, right? The bubble wraps and the pillow packs that are in there, and informing them that those are materials that can also be recycled.
Yeah.
Wow.
They should be, and they can be. And I think it's up to us as people in the packaging industry to educate consumers and educate companies that make packaging to encourage the recycling of it. It's critical. Do you have any idea? I know this might be a long shot, but do you have any idea how much material TREX has recycled out of, like, diverted from the landfill?
Over the last 5 years, we've diverted more than 1 billion pounds of plastic has been recycled by us. In 2020 alone, we upcycled more than 360 million pounds of plastic film from landfills. And each year, the TREX, we use more than 1.5 billion plastic bags
Wow.
In our eco-friendly outdoor living products. And when you think of an outdoor deck that's 500 square feet, that can contain as many as 140,000 recycled plastic bags.
Wow. That's
So,
amazing. Wow.
yeah. So our collection and bringing that material in, it's enormous, and it's a great story of keeping those items and putting them back into use.
That's an incredible, those numbers blew me away. Wow. Awesome. What's the future? What do you guys plan? Can you continue to expand and grow this company?
Oh, I mean, the future has been so bright. It's so bright and exciting for TREX. I mean, we're not only, expanding recycling through the next TREX program, but we manufacture today in Virginia and out west in Nevada. And we most recently announced that we're growing and we're moving to the Midwest, to Little Rock, Arkansas for our next facility for all sorts of reasons, right? Access to more materials, more recycling materials, but also to get closer to our customers. So for our overall footprint, right, as well there. So we're growing, and we're continuously looking to develop the future of recycled materials. So stay tuned to see what we use next.
Oh, wow.
Future facility as awareness. The good thing about our education and like you mentioned Dow and what they're doing on that front is that there is more awareness around films, and people are recycling films, and more people are finding use for films, which is fantastic. And so we're always looking for that next opportunity to divert something from the waste stream that we can use in order to build our products. So there's a more exciting stuff. So maybe you can have me back in a year or two.
Oh, I'd love to.
The next best thing that we've been working on to use out there. But so from a recycling standpoint, our expansion means that we'll be in the short term taking in the opportunity to take in more film and divert it from the waste streams.
It's incredible. Does the film need to be really cleaned off in order to be recycled well?
So we prefer, obviously, clean films. Our process can take a certain amount of contamination, as we call it. Obviously, most of the stuff that comes back through the consumer at the store it's a pretty clean material. We have the ability to take a certain amount of contamination in our processes, but most of the film that we do receive, especially from distribution and the consumer, is pretty clean. Other films become more challenging, right? Like agricultural films and things like that. But those are all things that we've used in the past and have the ability to do. It requires more processing. So at some point you got to balance the energy that you're putting into it as well, if you're concerned about the overall sustainability and as well. So
that's a great point. I think sometimes people can take it a little too far, and it takes 100 gallons of water, and it takes all of these things that, if you look at the life cycle analysis, it doesn't pan out. So sometimes it's okay to just this item isn't ready to be recycled yet, and that's okay. We'll work on it. We're continuing to, like you said, expand capabilities, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and you mentioned water, right? And most of the ways films are cleaned is through water solutions. But the one good thing about TREX is we recycle. I mean, our water is 100% captive in our process. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it's all completely recirculated in our manufacturing processes. So we look at it we're not only excited about what we keep from the landfill. It's a bigger story for TREX and how we look at our whole business and how we look at the modernization of our facilities and those things as well. It's not only what we're using, but how we use it and how we produce it as well is important to us as well.
Fantastic. You also mentioned reclaimed wood. Can you talk about that? Where does that come from? Is it scraps from construction? Is it
so we take a whole lot of wood too from the landfill as well, or fibers and dust that comes off the manufacturing floors of facilities, cabinet manufacturers, people that would normally may get thrown away. We capture that as well, but we also use woods that don't have other purposes. So for example, orchard woods, right? So fruit bearing trees, nut bearing trees, They tend to not have a lot of purpose in building or other applications. And some can't be used even in mulch, like walnut trees, because they have natural herbicides. So you can't put that down in your garden. So we look at capturing, even on the wood side, we're concerned about things that would normally have to be or thrown away and used in our materials. So we're not only capturing, post-industrial, but we're trying to capture wood streams that don't have another purpose, whether that's almond wood or walnut wood, or, to your point, broken down pallets and things like that that might otherwise, get burned or destroyed in another way or thrown away. So we're trying to capture that as well.
That's amazing. I used to work at Weyerhaeuser back in the beginning of my career, and spending summers in the pallet yard was probably the hardest work I've ever done in the packaging industry. It was a lot of work. There were so many pallets that would just be beyond use. They're just done. So we would fill one of those huge bins and it would get recycled into that program. So that's great. Really cool. So what you mentioned, this school recycling program, that's all on your website. People can sign up and it's free of charge.
All you can do is win.
That's
right?
amazing.
All you can do is earn stuff. And you can go to recycle.trex.com or email nex, N-E-X, TREX, T-R-E-X, at trex.com. If you're interested in learning more about community recycling, industrial recycling. So people that are listening out there from manufacturing or distribution or stores, those are ways to get with us. And also, if listeners have new ideas for us to consider, right? They can contact me directly via LinkedIn or here at TREX at Lauer, Z-L-A-U-E-R at trex.com.
And I'll put all these links in the show notes so people can click on it wherever they're listening to this program. Thank you so much, Zach. I really appreciate your time. This has been an awesome show, and I will take you up on that offer to have you on again in 6 months or so.
Fantastic. And also, if you ever want to come visit TREX, you can see it in process.
I would absolutely love that. Thank you, Landsberg Aurora, for your sponsorship of this show. If you're listening, please take a minute to review it and share it with your friends. Tell us how we can make more great episodes of this program. Thank you so much.
Thank you.